All right, so let's discuss the challenges for the new person in charge of the City of Gold, joined now by political analyst Oliver Dickson. Oliver, thanks very much for your time. So tell us about Jolidee Matongo. What has he achieved in the past as a member of the MMC for finance in the city, and how do you rate him?
Look, MMC of Finance, Jolidee Matongo, was responsible for a 73.3 billion rand budget for the city of Johannesburg for this financial year. He holds a master's degree in public administration and various other technical degrees relating to public management, project management, and various other matters relating to his task at hand. And I think coming from within the mayoral executive council of the previous mayor, the late Mayor Makubo, means that he's got an idea of what the money was meant to be spent on. And so coming in, I don't think we'll see a brand new budget being reconfigured for the city. I think he's got the technical skills. And what surprised me this time around, Sally, was that the election of this mayor seemed to be an entirely neutral process. That is to say, Mayor Matongo, along with two other possible candidates, were interviewed by the PEC, which put forward three names to the ANC NEC, who then settled on Matongo, right? And the fact that they went through a rigorous interviewing process took me by surprise, because typically these things are led and determined by party factional lines. We know that Makubo was not himself devoid of factional speculations, right? The fact that the city of Johannesburg itself is the ANC in the city of Johannesburg itself is a region, wrought with factional battles about what is to come next. And that's also how they lost the seat in 2016 in the last local government elections, right? Was indicative of an ANC that's ailing here. And it has done quite a lot to pull itself by its bootstraps and fix its own internal battles to be able to then ascend to power with Mayor Makubo. And they got on their side smaller political parties like COPE, ACDP, the IFP, the Patriotic Alliance, and one other party that's just completely slipped my mind right now, who they will once again be engaging with, as well as the ANC Tripartite Alliance partners over the next couple of days, determine what the mayor's executive council will look like. And it's likely that it may consist of members from opposition political parties.
And of course, he does need the support of the opposition. It's good to hear that you say he has the technical skills and that he has the support of the ANC. And as you say, likely some members of the opposition as well, because there's certainly a lot to do in Johannesburg. We're sitting with a lot of broken infrastructure. Charlotte Maxeke, one of our biggest hospitals, is still not fully reopened, and we know it could take up to 2 years. We need someone who can come in and make things happen. Is he the man for the job?
I mean, no, he's not going to fix Charlotte Maxeke, because that is under provincial government administration, right? And so it is not the mayor responsible for fixing that infrastructure. The ailing infrastructure of the city of Johannesburg relates to our roads, bridges, and sewer network. And that is where it's deeply worrying. An incontrovertible fact about the city of Johannesburg is that it's been underspending on infrastructure for the last decade, stemming from the years of Parks Tau. And that has caught up with the city of Johannesburg. And we saw one major improvement take place under Herman Mashaba, and that was the N3 highway in the city of Johannesburg, which was closed down for, the M1 highway in the city of Johannesburg, which was closed down for quite a while, and traffic jam-packed on that while they were fixing that bridge. But that's one of countless bridges in the city of Johannesburg that needs fixing. And the road agency of the city of Johannesburg has told us that they're under budgeted and that they need a whole lot more money to be able to fix the road infrastructure that is under the administration of the city, as well as fixing just potholes, general potholes in the city of Johannesburg. They had a campaign of sorts under Mayor Makubo shortly after became mayor about attacking all the potholes in the city of Johannesburg. Not much progress was made on that, unfortunately, and that problem persists. And look, potholes might sound like a very middle-class problem to have, given the vast poverty in the city of Johannesburg, but it's a real problem which affects commuter transport for the working class of the city of Johannesburg, and much needs to be done about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And also it's the kind of thing that gets people angry enough to vote or not vote. Now, we know that local government elections are most likely going to be postponed until February. Do you think Mayor Matongo has enough time to make a positive impression on voters?
I don't think the mayor as a singular individual has an opportunity to make an impression on the residents. Remember, we're not a country that votes for individuals, unfortunately. We're a country that votes for parties. And unfortunately, the ANC as a party has an uphill battle when it comes to local government elections. It has a deficit of 12 seats to reach majority in the city council, for instance. And I unfortunately can't do the mental math for you to tell you how many votes 12 seats translate into in a local government election, but it's tens of thousands of votes that they need to win back from the residents of the city of Johannesburg. The EFF was a kingmaker after that local government election in 2016. And the big question here is, has the ANC cleansed itself enough in the city of Johannesburg to fix it? And to that, the answer is unfortunately no. Despite his xenophobic views and despite his problematic views on safety, on leadership altogether, Herman Mashaba was quite popular as a mayor in the city of Johannesburg. And we must remember that Herman Mashaba stepped down voluntarily. He was not fired, he didn't leave under a cloud of suspicion and corruption. He stepped down voluntarily from the Democratic Alliance and will once again be contesting the city of Johannesburg in the local government elections. So it might just be the case that Herman Mashaba, who still enjoys popularity, might be able to transfer that popularity and goodwill and transfer that goodwill capital onto his new party, and that they might deepen the ANC deficit within City Council from 12 votes to much more than 12 votes, which will give smaller political parties a great opportunity to once again form a coalition government and to form a true coalition government this time around.
Well, one that works.
Last time around. Yes. And that might be a problem, yeah.
Yeah, one that works and doesn't end in a bit of a stalemate. Oliver, if you had the ear of the new mayor and you had only one thing you could tell him to urgently attend to in the city of Johannesburg, what would it be?
Rates in Texas, and the cost of living in the city of Johannesburg is worrisome. Just last week, City Power announced a near 15% hike on electricity tariffs across the city of Johannesburg, and that will be strangling households across the city of Johannesburg. Unfortunately, what we will see as a result of that is an increase of illegal connectivity to the electricity grid in areas, and that needs to be taken into consideration, because the city will be bleeding money as far as that's concerned. 73 billion rand might sound like a lot of money, but for the most populous and most economic active city on the continent, 73 billion rand is not nearly enough money to run a city and to hold it together. And so bleeding any more money is a problem. He needs to stop the leakage, and he needs to fix that. The second thing is that he needs to focus on infrastructure. And the third thing, he needs to focus on safety and security across the city of Johannesburg. It is a serious concern that damages the reputation of the city so badly that it cannot position itself as a world-class African city anymore. Neither can it attract tourists, which is something that the city was known for at least a decade ago, which today does not exist.
Yeah, there is indeed so much to repair. Thank you so much for chatting to us this evening. That is political analyst Oliver Dickson there.